Elon Musk may own private jets, but there are pastors who have built entire private neighborhoods for themselves, funded by tithes. From Nigeria to Texas, these are 10 of the world's richest men of God, starting with the prophet who preached through satellites instead of sermons. TB Joshua, $50 million, Nigeria. While most pastors dream of a pulpit, TB Joshua built a stage big enough to beam his miracles across continents. From a modest Lagos congregation, he engineered SCOAN, the synagogue church of all nations, and turned it into a spiritual factory powered by cameras, satellites, and one unshakable belief: faith could be televised. His crown jewel was Emmanuel Television, a personal network that streamed healing crusades and prophecies into tens of millions of homes across Africa, Latin America, and beyond. Donations didn't just trickle in, they flooded by the millions, often wired overseas by desperate families who believed a miracle could arrive via screen. By the time of his death in 2021, Joshua's estate was worth over $50 million, complete with sprawling Lagos real estate and a marble-clad burial site that itself became a shrine. Of course, he was accused by critics of stage-managing healings, but for millions who saw hope where medicine failed, he was the real deal. Belief, after all, is a currency more powerful than gold. Next up, we go from Lagos airwaves to American stadiums, where our next preacher didn't just build a ministry but whispered it in the ears of presidents. Billy Graham, $60 million, USA. Before megachurches and prosperity jets, there was Billy Graham, the crusade preacher, who could fill a stadium with 90,000 souls and still make a president lean closer when he spoke in a whisper. He began under a circus tent in Los Angeles in 1949, and 4 decades later his voice echoed across 185 nations in 54 languages. The Billy Graham Evangelistic Association was no small ministry. It commanded a $100 million annual budget and employed more than 1,000 people. Book royalties, film rights, and radio syndication fueled its engine, while Graham himself insisted on a modest salary of just $15,000 a year. Yet by the time he passed in 2018, his personal net worth hovered near $60 million. His wealth rested in assets like the $27 million Charlotte headquarters and The Cove, a $70 million discipleship retreat nestled in North Carolina's mountains. What really set Graham apart wasn't flash or luxury, it was access. He advised 12 U.S. presidents, prayed in the Senate, and once calmed Wall Street after Black Monday. Unlike today's prosperity moguls, he flew commercial until arthritis nudged him into business class. But if Billy Graham's gospel was power in a whisper, the next man quietly built an entire Christian city with its own banks, police, and millions of loyal followers. Enoch Adeboye, $65 million, Nigeria. Soft-spoken, unassuming, and never draped in designer flash, Enoch Adeboye looks like the last person you'd expect to run one of the world's largest Pentecostal networks. Yet as the general overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, he commands millions of followers across nearly 200 nations. What began in a humble Nigerian classroom has scaled into Redemption City, a sprawling Christian megacity valued at over $250 million, with its own roads, police force, banking system, and a colossal open-air auditorium that can host over 3 million worshipers. That's not a typo, 3 million people under one roof of faith. Adeboye's empire stretches beyond the pulpit. Redeemers University, one of Nigeria's top private institutions, adds tens of millions in tuition and donations. His personal wealth, estimated at $65 million, also includes a Gulfstream jet worth $45 million, discreet residences, and a ministry machine that runs with the efficiency of a Fortune 500 company. Unlike his flashier counterparts, Adeboye's power lies in quiet obedience. Millions bow their heads when he speaks. The brand isn't him, it's devotion itself. And while Adeboye rules through humility, watch how this next pastor brings drama by waving his hand in stadiums and sending crowds collapsing like dominoes. Benny Hinn, $70 million, Israel divided by USA. If Christianity ever had a rock star showman, it was Benny Hinn. Picture stadiums packed with 50,000 people, cameras rolling, choirs swelling, and then bam, Hinn waves his white suit jacket and entire rows collapse like dominoes. For millions, this wasn't theater, it was a brush with the divine. For critics, it was Las Vegas magic dressed as miracles. At his peak, Hinn's ministry pulled in over $100 million annually from donations, tapes, books, and late-night television broadcasts. He wasn't shy about enjoying it either. Think $25,000 a night hotel suites, fleets of luxury cars, and healing crusades staged like blockbuster movies. His name became a household brand across 200 countries. A preacher whose face was as recognizable as any pop star of the 1990s. But all that spectacle attracted scrutiny. The U.S. Senate launched an investigation into his ministry's spending habits, probing whether donations meant for God's work were instead underwriting an elite lifestyle. Hinn never faced charges, but the cloud of controversy never really left him. Still, controversy didn't kill the brand, it amplified it. Even now, Benny Hinn Ministries continues to pull global attention, proving that when faith and showmanship collide, the line between preacher and performer gets awfully blurry. And if that feels outrageous, wait till you meet the man whose name is literally Dollar, and he preaches exactly that. Creflo Dollar, $80 million, USA. Yes, his actual name is Dollar, and yes, his gospel revolves around wealth. Creflo Dollar turned Atlanta into ground zero for prosperity preaching with World Changers Church International, a megachurch that seats 8,500 and commands a flock of over 30,000 members worldwide. His sermons? Simple. God doesn't want you broke, and if you sow generously, blessings and Bentleys will follow. But Creflo didn't just preach prosperity, he lived it. From luxury cars to million-dollar homes, his lifestyle looked like a hip-hop mogul's playlist. The boldest ask came in 2015, when he asked followers to help him buy a $65 million Gulfstream G650 jet, because, according to him, only the best will do for God's work. Critics exploded. But the kicker? His flock delivered. Dollar's empire stretches through television broadcasts, books, global conferences, and satellite churches on multiple continents. His net worth now hovers around $80 million, cementing his brand as one of faith's most unapologetic businessmen. Whether you call it divine favor or aggressive marketing, there's no denying Creflo figured out how to make the prosperity gospel live up to its name. From private jets to broadcasting empires, the next pastor turned his church into a multimedia conglomerate, complete with music labels and publishing houses. Chris Oyakhilome, $90 million, Nigeria. If there's one pastor who blurred the line between church and entertainment empire, it's Chris Oyakhilome. As the founder of Love World Inc., he didn't just build a church, he built an ecosystem. Love World Television broadcasts non-stop across continents. His publishing arm pushes Rhapsody of Realities in over 1,000 languages, and his gospel music label has produced chart-topping stars who fill arenas just as much as he does. Oyakhilome's reach is staggering. His sermons air on television stations from South Africa to the UK, and his ministry app racks up millions of downloads. The revenue streams books, media, concerts, donations, combine into a well-oiled financial machine that's lifted his personal net worth to around $90 million. Of course, no empire comes without turbulence. His highly publicized divorce in 2014 sparked gossip and predictions of decline. But the ministry barely flinched. The books kept selling, the music kept streaming, and his congregations kept swelling. In fact, some argue the drama only boosted his visibility, reinforcing his knack for turning every challenge into an opportunity. Today, Love World feels less like a church and more like a lifestyle brand. Millions consume his content daily, often without even realizing they're engaging with one man's ministry. When business, faith, and media mesh this seamlessly, maybe pastor isn't even the right word anymore. Tycoon might be closer. You've seen flashy, now get ready for the smiling preacher who made a fortune off positivity alone. Joel Osteen, $100 million, USA. If there's a face for feel-good Christianity, it's Joel Osteen's smile. The Houston preacher took over his father's modest ministry in 1999 and turned it into Lakewood Church, now the largest megachurch in the United States. Forget fire and brimstone warnings of eternal damnation. Osteen preaches, "Your best life now." And apparently, that best life includes a $14 million mansion in Houston's upscale River Oaks neighborhood, 6 bedrooms, 3 elevators, and enough marble to make the Vatican blush. Here's the trick. Osteen doesn't even take a salary from the church. His fortune, hovering around $100 million, comes from best-selling books, sold-out speaking tours, and media rights. Your Best Life Now alone sold over 8 million copies, generating tens of millions. His sermons, broadcast in over 100 countries, made him a household name far beyond Sunday mornings. But fame hasn't always meant favor. During Hurricane Harvey in 2017, Osteen faced public backlash for delaying the opening of Lakewood as a shelter. Critics accused him of caring more about image than people. His defense? Logistics. His followers? Unbothered. The arena still fills weekly, and his television viewership hasn't skipped a beat. Joel Osteen mastered the art of branding Christianity as optimism, a faith that doesn't scold, it uplifts. Whether you see him as a beacon of positivity or a polished salesman, his message clearly sells. If $100 million feels massive, wait till you see the Nigerian Papa who built a whole city around his pulpit. David Oyedepo, $150 million, Nigeria. In Nigeria, they call him Papa. But David Oyedepo is less like a pastor and more like a city planner with a Bible. As founder of Winners Chapel International, he didn't just build a church, he built Canaan Land, a 10,500-acre Christian megacity outside Lagos. Inside its borders sits Faith Tabernacle, a 50,000-seat auditorium that once held the Guinness World Record for largest church. But that's just the sanctuary. The campus has banks, printing presses, housing estates, and even private universities. His institutions, Covenant University and Landmark University, rank among Nigeria's most prestigious. Their tuition and endowments alone bring in tens of millions annually. Add to that his Dominion Publishing House, which churns out mandatory reading for his students, plus tithes from millions of followers. And it's no surprise his net worth sits comfortably at $150 million. And yes, the lifestyle reflects it. Oyedepo reportedly owns a fleet of private jets worth over $40 million and luxury homes spanning Nigeria, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Admirers call him a visionary who's institutionalized prosperity. Critics say he's a CEO, cosplaying as a pastor. Either way, the results are undeniable. Canaan Land functions like a nation within a nation, a blend of faith and infrastructure that redefines what a church can be. From building cities to building a political machine, the next preacher ran for the White House and built a media empire worth hundreds of millions. Pat Robertson, $200 million, USA. Pat Robertson didn't just preach, he built a political machine dressed up as a ministry. Founder of the Christian Broadcasting Network and its flagship 700 Club, Robertson reached millions of households daily, blending prayer with politics in a way America had never seen. His net worth? Around $200 million, fueled by donations, media revenue, and his very own Regent University, valued at over $230 million. But Robertson's empire wasn't limited to television and schools. He dipped into business ventures ranging from cable networks to, believe it or not, diamond mining in Africa. While not all of them succeeded, they showcased his appetite for expansion, a televangelist with the instincts of a Wall Street shark. In 1988, Robertson even ran for President of the United States, leveraging his spiritual influence into political capital. He didn't win, but his campaign helped forge the religious right into a force that shaped American politics for decades. From Reagan to Trump, Robertson's influence lingered in Washington's corridors of power. He lived well, though not as extravagantly as some of his peers, on a sprawling Virginia estate worth over $5 million. But his true luxury was power, the ability to sway both voters and presidents from behind a pulpit and a television camera. But even Robertson's empire can't touch the man who literally built his own runway for private jets, a fortune that dwarfs even Elon Musk. Kenneth Copeland, $760 million, USA. And finally, here's the crown jewel of prosperity preaching, Kenneth Copeland. At nearly $760 million in net worth, he's not just the richest pastor in the world but also wealthier than some Fortune 500 CEOs. His secret? Turning the prosperity gospel into an industrial-scale business model. Copeland's empire, Kenneth Copeland Ministries, pulls in over $30 million annually through television broadcasts, book sales, streaming subscriptions, and 24/7 donation hotline. His 1,500-acre Texas compound includes a $6 million lakefront mansion, a church-owned private airstrip worth $17 million, and at least 3 private jets, including a $36 million Gulfstream V. When asked why he doesn't fly commercial, Copeland once declared, "Airlines are tubes full of demons." Well, at least he's honest about his brand. Real estate? He's got warehouses, ranches, and broadcast studios worth tens of millions, all tucked neatly under nonprofit exemptions that shield them from taxes. His publishing house cranks out millions in sales annually, reinforcing his message that giving big guarantees receives bigger. Critics call him the poster child of greed in the pulpit. Followers call him proof that prosperity is divine. Either way, Kenneth Copeland has built a tax-proof empire that looks less like a ministry and more like a billion-dollar conglomerate with Bible verses attached. Copeland's runway of riches shows no sign of ending, proof that in this kingdom, belief is the most profitable currency of all.